All right, I got some neat 410 ammo for you guys today we're going to try out. Just found this on the shelves literally a few days ago. I've never even heard of this stuff. I guess it's new for 2024 by Remington. Low Decibel. They're extremely subsonic, as you can see there by the advertised velocity of only 650 feet per second. I'm thinking you can shoot this stuff comfortably without ear pro, like a 22 maybe. So we're going to find out. Gonna do some groups at 10-20 yards. I find it funny. I mean, I could see how these would be fun for playing around with, and by the way, they run about the same as any other box. I got some Federal up there to compare them to that's also 9-shot, but it's the standard velocity, like 11 or 1200 feet per second, so we'll do that as well. Two different 410s here. Rossi with a modified choke, and then a Savage or Stevens 301, whichever it is the turkey model with the extra full choke. But I find it interesting that they seem to imply that you could hunt squirrel with this. Maybe if he's like right there, because 9-shot going only half the velocity of normal. Are you serious? It's just gonna bounce off of him. Like, again, like maybe if he's like right in front of you, I could see it, even then I don't know how well it would work. I'm gonna have a gel test coming up, and I'm gonna try to use an actual piece of hide off of something. We'll probably do it in bare gel and with hide or something, and see how much penetration we actually get, and I'll compare it to a standard shell. But yeah, I'm thinking that's got to be a joke. Like, come on guys, that's got to be I wouldn't do it. We're going to find out, though, in the ballistics gel later this fall when it's not so freaking hot. It's like almost 90 out here. The gel will melt in the sun. So I'll look forward to that. I'll have a gel test on this coming up. But yeah, I used to hunt squirrel with 410, 12 gauge and all that. And I actually would not use, I think the bare minimum really should be 7.5 shot. And I didn't used to use anything smaller than 6-shot, because I would hit them with 6-shot, knock them out of the tree, they'd hit the ground and take off running a quarter mile. So I actually switched to using 4 and 5-shot to make sure I downed them and they didn't take off and I lost them. So, and that was at high velocity. So I can't imagine, like, even high velocity 9-shot, it's not going to do hardly anything to a squirrel if he's very far away, let alone at only 650 feet per second. So sorry for the rant, ramble, whatever you want to call it there, but I call BS on saying it could effectively dispatch squirrels. But like I said, I'll have that gel test coming up, and we'll see what it actually does. I'm going to compare it to a BB gun too, because I got money on the BB gun that the BB gun is going to get further penetration, but we'll see. So anyways, to get started, I'm going to set up some shoot and see targets here, and like I said, we'll shoot different distances. I got some Federal 9-shot up there, standard velocity to kind of compare it to as far as the patterning goes, to see if these pattern any different, being a much lower velocity or whatever. I think it's a really cool idea for just messing around. Like I said, it'd be cool to be able to shoot a shotgun without ear pro. I'm going to be the guinea pig here and see how well that works, but I could also see this working great for introducing somebody, especially youth, to a shotgun for the very first time. Move them up from a 22 to a shotgun. This stuff would be great, because obviously it's going to have reduced recoil as well as being much quieter. And that's the other thing too, a lot of people don't know or consider, this is actually a youth model, but it's got like a 22-inch barrel on it. When you take something like this that only weighs 3.5-4 pounds, something sized to youth, the recoil with a 410 is actually, I wouldn't say stout, but a lot more than you'd expect from a 410. If you go from a 870 pump or a 500 pump 410 to one of these, the recoil is almost doubled because that little gun is so light. When I handed my stepson and my daughter this very gun for the first time at appropriate ages, I think one was like 10, 11, 12, something like that for both of them. They both didn't like the recoil, and I was like, what's the problem? It's a little 410. And then I shouldered it and shot it, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I see what you're talking about now, because she's so light. Your standard 410 shells, especially the 3-inch ones, man, they almost kick like a 20 gauge pump. So yeah, I could definitely see them coming in handy for first time shotgun shooters there. But honestly, I can picture how these would be a lot of fun even for a seasoned shooter like myself. So we're definitely going to play around with them in future videos. There's the Federals I brought just for comparison. I mean, I wish I had some Remingtons, but this is all I had. 410 ammo is still pretty freaking hard to find. But as you can see there, 9-shot, and yeah, those are literally like half the velocity. So, but I got a few of these in here to compare it, you know, just to see how they group. So start out back here at 10 yards, laser rangefinder confirmed. Link in the description if you want to get yourself a good budget rangefinder. Been using that one for about 5 years. They're awesome. Comes in way under $100. You see we got some 9mm holes down here. But we should be able to see it pattern on that, no problem. So we'll start out here 10 yards. Like I said, I'll do one with each gun, each choke. We got a modified here with the Rossi. We'll do that first. Then the extra full turkey choke on this. It's gonna bug me. Is it a Stevens or a Savage? Stevens 301. And then we'll put the Federal down the pipe. See how it compares. With the Rossi modified choke, 10 yards. I forgot. I was like, what the heck? Why was that so quiet? Oh yeah, it's supposed to be quiet, dummy. So obviously an extremely, they seem to pattern pretty dang good. That's an extremely tight pattern. 10 yards there with a modified choke. So yeah, I had my ears on and everything. I'm gonna try with the 301 there with the extra full choke, and I'm gonna leave my ears off for that one, see how it goes. And you know, since I hit high, well, that's the other thing. Let's see if there's a point of impact change. I'm going to aim at that bottom dot with the extra full choke here on that Stevens 301. Since we hit high with that first shot, I got plenty of target down there left. There goes the extra full choke. No ears this time. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a little crack, but not bad at all. I would say it's, man, it's right on par with a 22. I can't quite tell if it's on par with a subsonic or a high velocity. Honestly, it seems like it's kind of right in between there. So I think you could shoot a few of these without ears, no problem. I mean, it's personal preference, but I don't have any problem leaving my ears off with these. So there's with the extra full. On that, I don't know if I pulled that first shot. I really doubt it, but she's hitting point of impact there for me. Yeah, I put her right there, and there's the pattern. So anyways, that's what she looks like at 10 yards. Let's try some of the Federal from both guns. I'll get a fresh target set up. All right, so here we go with the Federal 9-shot. We'll call these traditional velocity. Rossi up first with the modified choke. Go for that top dot. Wow. Okay, so that is very interesting. So the traditional 410 shells, 9-shot, they just spread out twice as much. That's crazy. 10 yards with the Rossi modified choke. That's very interesting. How do they make those patterns so tight? Maybe it's because of the low velocity? I don't know. So let's try that extra full choke on the bottom with those traditional Federals there. Maybe that's why they advertise squirrel on there, because they pattern so dang tight, but I would still be reserved with that teeny tiny 9-shot going only 650 feet per second. But here we go. Federal standard velocity with the extra full turkey choke on the bottom dot. All right, so that's again interesting, because the extra full choke pattern those nice and tight, no problem. You'd have to go back in the video. I think it was a smidge tighter through the extra full choke with those Remington low decibels that we're testing out today. But interestingly, through the Rossi, they just spread the standard Federal everywhere compared to those low decibels. That's interesting. More proof you got to pattern your gun to see how your gun's going to do with whatever ammo you're using. All right, I'll get you guys zoomed in for these. Well, I'm going to stand in a slightly different spot. We'll be at a laser rangefinder confirmed 20 yards. We use a fresh target each time this time, so Again, try to low decibel first, starting with the Rossi modified choke and then the 301 extra full choke. All right, I did not wear ears that time again, and the slightly different angle of aiming over there compared to straight out, it echoed off this brick wall, and it did give me a little ear ring on that side. But I think as long as you don't have anything for it to echo off of, sounds like a 22 long rifle high velocity, because even the 22 long rifle high velocity down here kind of echoes off that and hurts my ears a little. So I generally wear ear protection with that down here, but when I'm like out in the backyard or the field with a 22, I don't. So a little loud if it echoes off of that. It may be a smidge louder than a 22 high velocity, like a standard one. So maybe like Stinger velocity. I don't know. We'd have to do side by side for sure, but it's not bad. Yeah, like I said, when I was pointing over there, perfectly fine. I pointed straight and it echoed off that concrete. So there's with the modified choke at 20 yards. Just aiming center mass. And you see it just kind of peppered there. If I don't completely die in the sun out here, I've been out here for a few hours already, I might bring it back to 15 yards. But let's try out of the extra full choke now back here, and I'll put a fresh target up. Okay, and now the low decibel, 20 yards with the extra full choke. Man, I hope the camera caught that. Let me see here. Nope, of course not. Need to retire this old camera stand. It's got too much play in it and the wind catches the phone and spins it on me. Sorry about that. So I did pull that shot a little high right as I pulled the trigger, so that was my fault. The trigger on that thing's kind of heavy. But from the extra full, that's pretty good out here, 20 yards. So much tighter pattern as it should be. All right, but I'll get some new ones set up, do the Federal out there for comparison, and then I'm going to be done, guys. Sun is killing me. I am not heat tolerant. I run hot, so I always like cooler weather a lot better. I always pick up my brass, and I'm going to even skip that today for like the first time ever, if that tells you how bad I'm doing. So real quick, we'll do the Federal out there, 20 yards out of each gun for you, see how they compare, and then I'm getting out of here. All right, 20 yards, Federal, traditional velocity, Rossi modified choke. All right, so remember those spread out astronomically compared to that low decibel from the very same gun, which was strange. So I don't know, you'd have to compare the previous shot with them down here at 20. It does look a little worse, but there was a drastic difference at 10 yards. All right, now the Federal traditional velocity down there, 20 yards with the extra full choke. Whew, I'm dying, guys. Like I said, I've already been out here for a few hours roasting. I don't even know what the index is, probably at least a 9, I would say. And there's your comparison with the Federal. Real quick, let's knock this Gatorade bottle around with a couple of these. I'll hit it first with the modified and then with the full after it's been thrown out there a few feet. I figured that would throw it pretty far due to the low velocity having not very much penetration, so it was really going to grab onto that plastic and chuck it out there, but I didn't think it would go that far. It's back there in the freaking grass line. All right, wrap this up in the shade back here. Chug some more water. So there you go. I mean, that's how they pattern. Like I said, I'll have a ballistics gel video coming up on these. Give me a couple months for the temperatures to drop so my gel doesn't melt out here like I do. And like I said, we'll probably shoot a few more fun targets with it. But there you go. Thanks for watching. If you want to get yourself any of the products you see me using in any of my videos, like my target stand there, paper targets I use, steel targets, rangefinder, earmuffs, way more. Links in the description for all of that. If you're a 410 guy like me, check out the 410 playlist on the channel. Thanks for stopping by and checking this one out, and I hope to catch you on the next one.